Awesome. Okay, so I was calling in because so recently I was home visiting my family. I don't even want to say outspoken, but I'm open about my atheism with my family. I was raised very religious, and they didn't take it super well, but we've gotten past it. It's not an issue for us, and I now have a pretty good relationship with my family, and we just don't sort of bring it up.
I know how that goes.
Yeah. So in recent conversations that I've had with my family, I've noticed that my sister, she's always had sort of a worldview that's very similar to mine, much more, I think, open-minded worldview about accepting people and you know, not judging everything through the lens of the religion that she was brought up in. And I was talking to her. You know, I've had a few conversations with her that kind of made me think, not so much that she'd be open to the idea of being an atheist, because that's not my goal with my family. I don't have any desire to make them atheists. I think it would be very nice if any of them came around, but I don't have any hope of that with anyone else.
Sure.
So, I don't want to approach a conversation with my sister as, you know, hey, you know, what would it take for you to stop believing in God? Because if it's something that, you know, makes her happy, I'm not going to bash her for it, because she, you know, outside of it and independent of it is, you know, a considerate, very caring person, a wonderful mother. And
hey, Jeremy,
I don't ever want to. Yep.
I get what you're saying, and I'm fully supportive. Although the question that you didn't want to start with may in fact be the question that you should start with if there's if she seems willing and interested in a conversation. Finding out what would change somebody's mind really can help, you know, guide the. Now, I'm not saying you should go after her. I'm saying if the conversation comes up, that should be one of the primary questions of, you know, what would change your mind? What would it take?
Yeah. I mean, generally, that's all I'm looking for is like tips. You know, if I know it's for yourself. I don't think you've tried to convert any of your family members, and this is sort of an individualistic experience. I do understand that. I was just looking for some advice on, you know, how to broach the topic if it comes up, and how to, you know, sort of not seem like I'm trying to push her.
I think so. John may have thoughts on this. I think you're fine. Everything that you were talking about, you know, you don't have this necessarily as a goal. You're open to conversation. I think the question about, you know, what would change your mind is a starting point in some of those conversations. But it doesn't have to be. It can also be, you know, hey, I want a better understanding of what you think and why, which, you know, being the course of this show, I'm not, I don't, you know, not knowing your sister and not knowing what kind of conversations you have, I don't necessarily have specific tips, but what I can say is if you are struggling with a little, you know, uncertainty about all this, everything that you've said, I'm fine with. I think you're on the right track.
That is reassuring.
Yeah, and I was just going to add, you know, it's not your job to try to change your mind. So I think what you're saying, if it comes up in conversation and you're just having a conversation about what you think and what she thinks, and that question comes up, that's, you know, that's one thing. But if you're attached in any way and getting her to reconsider her views or change her mind, I think that's probably you know, going into maybe inappropriate waters, because she believes what she believes, and she may or may not want to share it or examine it. And you know, as her brother, I think you can show an interest in her and what she thinks and have a conversation.
I just realized this all ties into the topic that I was talking about earlier. Because it's not in the same way that I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, hey, please lose more weight. I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, hey, please stop believing in God. I mean, they're both horrible ways to start a conversation.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
All right.
This is some very good advice, and thank you both. It really is an honor to talk to both of you. I credit your show with, at the very least, helping me start down the path of free thought and attempting to question what I believe more, and I've been watching it pretty regularly for the last 4 or 5 years now, since I was about 19.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. And by the way, if you run into specifics, I mean, I do 3 videos a month on the Atheist Debates Project that are specifically about let me take a topic and break it down and give people, what my thoughts are and the best way to address it. So you might find useful stuff there. There's all sorts of other resources as well on fallacies and other things like that. But I think probably the most valuable tool you've got is that you have a relationship with your sister that you care about. And I don't, it's possible everything could, go to hell in a handbasket. I've seen relationships end, but I don't suspect that's likely based on the way you're talking about it with us.
Well, this has been very helpful. So thank you very much, Matt.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, no problem. And Semper Fortis got boats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a reference to me being in the Navy and being a bosun's mate, so cool.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry for anybody who didn't actually get that.
I didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected much.